Well, hold on, let me try one. Here. Colon cancer. That's Ronnie James Dio.
Wow.
Who also died about a month ago. I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but I used to work for Ronnie James Dio, and Ronnie James Dio was a friend of mine. That's me, Ronnie James Dio, and on the bottom left there, you can see the Reverend Al from LA Cacophony there. Skylar Alphagreen, now the reporter for Spin Magazine, and that's Danny Girl. Ronnie James Dio was a weird guy. You know, he was only like 4'11". He was a tiny man. His first band was called Elf. You know, he actually quit Black Sabbath.
Really?
Yeah, he quit Black Sabbath. He didn't get kicked out. That's all I can talk about. Anyhow, I guess it's quiet now at the show.
We're short people.
Oh, yeah.
And quiet, when it's quiet and there's no music, it makes you want to think of
some
things. You want to hear more about Dio?
Put some on.
Dio's a fascinating person, but we're going to slowly prepare ourselves. We're going to breathe, and we're going to turn over our stage, and we're going to turn over the rest of our evening, our minds, and as much money as you can spare, ladies and gentlemen, to Dr. Hal.
Oh, threats of hell and hopes of paradise. One thing at least is certain, this life flies. One thing is certain and the rest is lies. The flower that blows today forever dies. Strange, is it not, that of the myriads who before us passed the door of darkness through, not one returns to tell us of the road, which to discover we must travel too. The revelations of devout and learned who rose before us and as prophets burned are all but stories, which arose from sleep, they told their comrades, and to sleep returned. I sent my soul through the invisible, some letter of that afterlife to spell, and by my soul returned to me, and answered, I myself am heaven and hell. Heaven, but a picture of fulfilled desire, and hell, the shadow from the soul on fire, cast on the darkness into which ourselves so late emerged from, shall so soon expire. We are no other than a moving row of magic shadow shapes that come and go, round by the sun's illumined lantern held at midnight by the master of the show, but helpless pieces of the game he plays upon his checkerboard of nights and days. Hither and thither moves and checks and slays, then one by one, back in the box he lays. The ball no question makes of eyes and nose, but here or there as strikes the player, goes. And he that tossed you down into the field, he knows about it all. He knows. He knows. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. Nor all your piety nor wit can lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out one word of it. And that inverted bowl they call the sky, where under crawling coot we live and die, raise not your hands to it for help, for it as impotently moves as you or I. With earth's first clay they did the last man knead, and there of the last harvest sowed the seed, and the first morning of creation wrote what the last dawn of reckoning shall read. Yesterday, this day's madness did prepare, tomorrow's silence, triumph or despair. Drink, for you know not whence you come, nor why. Drink, for you know not why you go, nor where. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to be back again and find the Ask Dr. Hal show now in session. It has been 8 months, a long 8 months, while we have frozen in the winter of exterior darkness. Now we're back here again to shed some light, or at least a little heat. This show that we're doing will eventually come back, probably in September, but until it does, it's going to be on the new experimental pirate radio station broadcast right out of here, ladies and gentlemen, right out of the famous Chez Poulet Gallery Cabaret. You passed the radio station on your way in. You just didn't notice it because it's so clandestine and secret and hidden and all. Nonetheless, you'll hear the Ask Dr. Hal show somewhere in between 8 and 12 p.m. on Fridays on 89.9 Radio KROB. And on the internet at radiovalencia.fm. All right, now I think that covers all the nuts and bolts, the nitty and gritty, the hither and thither, so let us now, without any further delay, launch...
Wait!
What? What did I do?
You're forgetting something else about the show in case of... No, you don't...
Well, it's been a while since...
Hey, Rob, you keep going. Always keep going. Unless I tell you to stop. Stop! But then keep going after I tell you to stop. You have to stop and go when necessary. Or sometimes when I don't say to stop, you can just stop or go if you'd like. Or you can get all jiggy with it. And
Now, you shouldn't tell him that, chicken.
So,
all right, is that the final barrier to launching forth into perilous seas unknown?
there seems to be one other thing missing.
Oh, one other thing.
I got the melatonin.
Melatonin. Well, now you see, we've gavel to gavel coverage of the Ask Dr. Hal show. Now in session. There is such a thing as having too heavy a hand on the old gavel there. We want to be just, as harsh as truth and as uncompromising as justice. All right.
So, okay, I got everything. Our first question of the night. If Jesus was Jewish, then why did he have a Mexican name?
Well, his name was Jesus. That's Latinized form of Yeshua. It was not Jesus. So you see, he didn't actually have a Mexican name, but the Mexicans, God bless them, they use it. Because they're not ashamed to use it. Just like we're not ashamed to take a nuclear submarine that can wipe off all life from the surface of the earth and call it Corpus Christi, the body of Christ. Yes, now you tell me what's more audacious. A Mexican calling himself Jesus, or us calling the extinction of the living creation by the name of the suffering body of the tormented God who died so that we could all feel guilty at the end of time.
You're always such a bummer, Hal. You know,
I just say it as I call him, chicken, or however that goes.
If X's are hugs and O's are kisses, no, it's the other way around. What letter would blowjobs be?
That's interesting. Well, one simply must mentally visualize the orthography of the alphabet in the uppercase. It might be that the big O is used for intermission, and the small O, which is nonetheless an O, for the delightful act that you describe, and therefore I rule that from this time henceforth it shall be so. And you were here upon this wonderful moment of inception.
Okay. These are all kind of dumb. Let's have this question.
Par for the course.
Here's a good question from our visiting friend. Reese Pontiff came here from New Orleans to come to the event formerly known as Ephemerile. And she asks this following question. When does a cloud become fog, and vice versa? What's the difference between a cloud and a fog?
Well, not too much. Not too much difference. But the fact is that fog might be considered a cloud that creeps along the ground when you come to think of it. Yes, the fog is the cloud that touches the ground. like the fog that hid Mary when she called the cattle home across the sands of Dee. And the creeping fog came and covered her, but never home came she. Yes, there can be all sorts of things out there in the fog. As we know, the weather calls for fog through the rest of this week. And then the cooling trend will end due to an offshore warm front moving this way that no one can stop.
Okay.